want to take a moment to address a question that many of you have been asking about the title of my last video. I'll keep it short. No, the PS5 Pro will not come close to the raw GPU power of the RTX 4090. The title and the first 5 minutes of the video, including the interview with the chief architect of PlayStation, explain how much more bang for your buck you are getting with a PS5 or PS5 Pro for the price. Another thing I want to clarify, and something a lot of people should understand, is that comparing raw power and numbers between high-end graphics cards and consoles is pretty pointless when it comes to gaming. Consoles are specifically made for gaming. The RAM and SSDs are tailored for that purpose. On the other hand, PCs running Windows are not made specifically for gaming and often need a bit of extra horsepower just to reach the same level of performance as consoles. Of course, I am paraphrasing a lot here, but if you go back to the last video, you'll see that Mark Cerny specifically talks about this in the interview. I hope this clears things up. Today, I want to challenge you with a fun discussion. First, for the Xbox fans, what do you think PlayStation does better than Xbox, and what PlayStation feature would you love to see on Xbox? Now for the PlayStation fans, what do you think Xbox does better than PlayStation, and what Xbox feature would you like PlayStation to adopt? I'm really curious to read your comments. Alrighty then, let's get into the video. I've got some juicy stuff for you guys. If you want more confirmation about PS5 Pro being announced in the next 2 months, then this is the video for you. Gamescom 2024 is scheduled to take place from August 21 to 25 at the Cologne Exhibition Center in Cologne, Germany. The event is the world's largest gaming convention, featuring interactive games and entertainment, including the latest consoles, gaming PCs, accessories, exclusive game titles, and more. However, Sony is not attending. Why is that, you ask? Well, my friends, remember my previous video? PS5 Pro confirmed for September 2024, sources say. And do you remember how in my last video I gave credit to Microsoft and said that the Xbox Showcase blew Sony's State of Play show out of the water? I also mentioned that State of Play is really Sony's smaller show, where they mostly display third-party games, talk about some updates, and maybe show some upcoming DLCs for established games. So yeah, I won't lie, it was pretty underwhelming. The whole SGF was pretty underwhelming in some parts, and Xbox stole the show. But you clicked on this video because you want to know what Sony is cooking, right? They won't attend Gamescom 2024, the biggest gaming convention of the year, because the real PlayStation Showcase is coming in September. In this showcase, Sony will come out swinging like never before. Think about it for a second. They don't want to go to Gamescom and fight for everyone's attention on August 21. Friend, they will wait until all that hype calms down, and then in September, bam! We'll get a show to remember. We'll get exclusive game reveals, Spider-Man 2 DLC reveal with Carnage, and probably even the Horizon 3 game reveal. And finally, the PlayStation 5 Pro. They will showcase a bunch of games running on the new hardware. They will showcase the new PSSR tech, and they will show us all the games that will have the PS5 Pro sticker enhanced label. Oh boy, this is going to be big. But I don't just want to talk and hype you up for no reason. I actually want to show you some very credible sources. First up, have you heard about The Verge? They are a pretty reputable tech news outlet. Check this out. On April 15th, The Verge released an article discussing how Sony is asking developers to get games ready over the summer, with a push for ray tracing support. The article was written by Tom Warren, a senior editor who covers all things Microsoft and tech. Tom founded Win Rumors, a site dedicated to Microsoft news before joining The Verge in 2012. With his strong reputation in the industry, Tom would never write such an article without confirmed details. I covered this article before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. I highly recommend all of you take the time to read it. It covers everything from the upgraded RAM and new GPU to the new upscaling super resolution tech that Sony is implementing. Here's a particularly interesting quote from the article. This new architecture supports Sony's custom PSSR upscaling solution, which is designed to replace a game's existing temporal anti-aliasing or upsampling implementation. Sony notes that inputs are quite similar to DLSS or FSR, and that full HDR support is included. This support requires around 250 megabytes of memory, which is why the memory allocations on the PS5 Pro should help here. Sony says there is around 2 milliseconds of latency involved in upscaling a 1080p image to 4K, and they are working on improving the latency in the near future. One reveal that really excites me is the development of Ghost of Tsushima 2. Rumors of a sequel have been circulating for years, fueled by insider reports and Sucker Punch's job market activity, which hinted at another open-world game. The new game is likely to be Ghost of Tsushima 2, as suggested by entertainment industry insider Daniel R. Richman. In an early June post shared on Patreon, Richman wrote that a Ghost of Tsushima sequel is in the works, without offering further details. While all rumors warrant skepticism, Richman has a long track record of verified insights, although he is better known for credible TV and movie leaks, and has only recently started sharing gaming-related scoops consistently. With AAA titles regularly taking at least 5 years to develop, and assuming work on Ghost of Tsushima 2 started around the time its predecessor was released, the new Sucker Punch game appears unlikely to debut before late 2025 at the earliest. Meanwhile, Sony continues the production of the Ghost of Tsushima movie adaptation, announced in March 2021, with Chad Stahelski of John Wick fame attached as director. Richman recently shared insights about the movie, claiming that Shogun alumni Hiroyuki Sanada is being considered for a role in the film. Sony has yet to commit to a concrete release window for the upcoming movie. Another exciting possibility for the upcoming PlayStation Showcase in September 2024 is a DLC for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 featuring Carnage. The Flame is a 4-part mission where Spider-Man encounters the Flame's cultists and the Vengeful Wraith, uncovering a plot to bring about the Crimson Hour to purge those deemed unworthy. Wraith has been tracking the Flame, who previously killed his gang to avoid being exposed. In the final chapter, Spider-Man and Wraith thwart the cult's plan to detonate explosives on a train track near buildings filled with innocent people. They derail the train in time, but Spider-Man ends up pinned under it. The Flame then appears, revealing his intention to steal a black symbiote sample from the Oscorp-branded train. As he speaks, the black symbiote turns red, and he sets Spider-Man on fire before escaping. Wraith saves Spider-Man, showing her true heroic nature despite her thirst for vengeance. After the mission, Yuri Wraith investigates the Flame's aliases, including Cletus Cassidy, Carnage's real name in the comics. This hints at a new story featuring Carnage, potentially as DLC. Given the first Spider-Man game's DLC success with The City That Never Sleeps, Insomniac might use a similar approach for a Carnage expansion. With the Flame on the loose with a symbiote and a sinister agenda, it seems only a matter of time before Carnage wreaks havoc. Insomniac's creative director, Brian Inhar, has officially confirmed the development of a third Spider-Man game. While he didn't reveal any new information, he promised that, according to the studio's plans, the third part is set to be a kind of endgame for the gaming franchise. This seems logical, especially considering that in the post-credit scene of the sequel, we see Norman Osborn visiting Otto Octavius, who is locked in solitary confinement at the Raft prison. When Osborn asks Octavius what he's writing, Octavius responds that he's preparing the final chapter. However, the specifics of this plan remain unknown. If we connect this scene with Brian Inhar's words about Spider-Man 3, it's possible to speculate that this final chapter might involve a cunning plan to kill Peter Parker, a script that could easily come to fruition in the third game. Such a tragic ending could serve as a perfect conclusion to the entire trilogy. By the time the third Spider-Man game releases, we will have known Peter for over 8 years. However, this assumes the game will be dropped by the end of 2025, which seems unlikely. Given that Insomniac has already announced the Wolverine game, and producers have confirmed that the entire Spider-Man team has shifted their focus to working on it, it's not realistic to expect the third Spidey game before 2026. Remaster or remake of the God of War trilogy. According to Special Nick, this project could be announced as early as this year or next. With next year marking the 20th anniversary of God of War, the timing seems perfect for such a significant release. Nick isn't certain if this will be a full remake or just a remaster of the series, but considering what we've seen from GO Valhalla, it's likely to be at least a visual remake, which is all it needs to captivate fans once again. With Atreus evolving from an NPC who accompanied Kratos in God of War to a fully playable character in God of War Ragnarok, players have already gotten a glimpse of his unique gameplay style. While Kratos' gameplay was characterized by his weight, size, and years of experience, Atreus brought a different dynamic with his nimbleness and reliance on a bow given to him by his mother, contrasting the heavier weapons wielded by Kratos. Throughout God of War Ragnarok, it became evident that despite his training, Atreus still lacked his father's experience. This was highlighted by his attempts to mimic Kratos, often not quite succeeding, which showcased his need for growth as an adventurer and warrior. These moments left plenty of room for Atreus to develop his own combat style. An entire game centered around his standalone journey would provide an opportunity for players to witness his transformation as he becomes more confident in his abilities and delves deeper into his legacy and the Jotnar heritage. Players have already seen some of Atreus' magical abilities, such as channeling giant magic through his attacks, and his equivalent of Kratos' Spartan Rage mode, which allows him to transform into a wolf. As Atreus learns more about his heritage and the powers of the Jotnar, there's potential for these abilities to evolve, making him even more skilled. This growth could set the stage for a future reunion with Kratos, where both characters would have developed, potentially making them equals in combat. While Santa Monica Studio has yet to officially announce its next title, job listings asking for candidates fluent in the combat design choices, systems, mechanics, and enemies of God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok 2022 suggest another entry in the God of War franchise is likely. After several entries focusing on Kratos, an Atreus spin-off would offer a refreshing change, building upon the established storyline while allowing Kratos to explore another mythology in a separate title. This would continue the narrative momentum from the end of Ragnarok and expand the series in new and exciting ways.